Welcome to the Gaming Coop, the best space to talk about goats. Let's introduce today's players. Player 1 does not want Lady Dimitrescu to step on him because he's married. It's Anthony.
Hello.
Understandable.
Player 2. Today will be a day of introspection, emotions, and goddamn tasty music. It's Matt.
Hell yeah, well.
Player 3. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. More like Guzzle Sprite Sprocket Luncheon. Am I right? It's Gabe.
Huh.
Player 4 goes to explore Mordor to implore the Sorboars to soar more above the war. It's Kelsey.
Oh, God.
Can you repeat that?
Implore the Sorboars to soar more above the war.
Is that Matt?
Nice.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Player 5. I am realizing now that I forgot to get an intro from someone, so it's Walsh.
Yay! I like that one.
Sorry, Chris.
Who did that?
It's okay. It's okay. That's on me. I should have asked. I completely forgot. And finally, player 6. You can shine no matter what you're made of. It's me, Chris.
Aww. Yeah, that's
Is that
true.
another Pixar quote?
It is not from Pixar, but it is from a different animated movie.
You were trying to hint at it last night, and I forgot what it was.
Oh, I didn't hint at it at all. I just asked if you recognized it at all. It's from the movie Robots.
Oh, okay. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, Squidward.
Yeah.
Welcome, Squidward.
It is our Game of the Year episode, because it is the end of the year. New Year's Eve, right around the corner. Time is a construct, but that don't matter in the GOATY conversations, because time is real to us. We are going to talk about the games that made us happy this year, the ones that really just made us feel good, and each of us have a particular game that we picked out for this year to talk about. And we'll also have some honorable mentions at the end. And to get us going. Oh, and just a further thing too, like this is not like, I mean, most of these did come out this year, but in the cases that they didn't come out, that doesn't matter. GOTY could be whatever you want it to be. It could be a game that's from like the 90s that you really enjoyed, you know? So screw the release date. If you enjoyed it this year, that's what makes a game of the year. So, with that said, it is time to go to Resident Evil Village, the 8th iteration. I mean, I'm sure that there's been side, spin-offs or something, but
there's been so many spin-offs.
Yeah, the main installments, at least. This is the 8th one, and Anthony's gonna talk about it. Anthony, hit us with it.
It's me. So, Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8, they do that cool little thing where, like, the V and then the I, L, and then L are, like, in gold, so it's, like, 8 in Roman numerals. It's very cool. That came out earlier this year in May, and I was really excited because I love Resident Evil games. And I liked 7. I thought it was a really good direction for the series to go in, from the kind of like stiff, tanky controls back towards a more natural first-person shooter kind of thing. It was actually not the first time, technically, that the series has gone first-person, but as far as the mainline games, it was the first, and people really liked it. I wasn't as big a fan of Resident Evil 7, but I was still pretty excited for Resident Evil 8, which continues with the same storyline and the same protagonist from 7. And it was freaking awesome. It takes that kind of like first-person horror, and it builds in the best parts of Resident Evil 4, such as a currency in the game, hidden treasure that you find and combine to make even more valuable treasure, secrets, that kind of stuff, upgradable weapons. And it puts it on this backdrop of this old, I'm guessing, European village where you get to explore all these different kinds of locations within the village itself. And it's really good. There are times when it's genuinely scary and suspenseful. And there are other times when you're in kind of like this cheesy sort of B horror movie. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I genuinely loved every part of this game. And it was fun. The weapons are really good to use and really impactful. The story itself is really good. It does that kind of Resident Evil thing where the logic and the just general way that things happen isn't really all that realistic, but it's still fun and enthralling. The characters in this one are some of the best characters that they've made in any Resident Evil game. All of the villains, you think there would just be one for all that people talk of Lady Dimitrescu, but there are tons of them. And the end game is my favorite part, because once you beat the game once, you unlock something called the Extra Shop. And then it's like, all right, you've been completing these little objectives all throughout the game. Like, here's some points for beating the game on normal. Here's some points for scoring a goal when you're carrying your baby around and you kick her little toy ball into the toy goal post in her room. You get some points for that. And then it's just this list of stuff that you achieved. And then they let you loose. They're like, here's all this stuff that you can buy. You can get little figurines of the enemies and monsters in the game. Or you can get a new weapon that's automatically in your playthrough, in your inventory for any playthrough. You can get weapons with infinite ammo. If you max out any one weapon's attributes, you can get an infinite ammo version of it, which is really strong. And then you get to take all of that into every single playthrough that you do from then on. So for me, it's like, okay, I did a normal version. Now I'm going to do a super hardcore playthrough. Now I'm going to do a melee only playthrough and then a speedrun playthrough. And every single playthrough I've done, I've enjoyed. It has never felt like a chore to play through the game. And I've found something new pretty much each time I played through it as well. It's just a really well-made game through and through. And just as a fun aside, the speedrunning community also agrees that this is a very well-made game. Most games, they kind of find something that they can just use to blow through half the game. And there is one spot where you can kind of go out of bounds and explore the outer boundaries of the map. But Village was made with these conditions as you play through the game, where it's like, okay, you haven't been ambushed by Lady Dimitrescu yet, so you're not going to be able to...
Why are you calling her that?
That's how they pronounce her name in game.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe you, but...
I know.
Everyone has a different pronunciation. It's wild.
I'm using her own pronunciation.
There you go. Fair enough. I thought you were just making a joke that she was like the dominant one. that's
No.
how I interpreted it the first time.
No.
You mean Lady Dimitrescu?
Tommy, yeah.
Right, exactly. But no, the game has these very specific conditions as you play. That means that speedrunners can't just beat the game in 30 minutes. And you think a lot of them would be kind of angry about that, but from what I've heard, they see it as a sign of it being a really well-made game, thoughtfully put together game. So Resident Evil 8 is my game of the year, not for just being an absolute amazing game on its own in terms of story, gameplay, rewarding exploration, voice acting, or writing, but also for the fact that each time I've replayed it, which I'm on the 5th playthrough now, it has been an absolute joy to experience.
It's funny because I guess it depends on like the circles that you are around, because the initial out of the gate response to Resident Evil Village, in terms of the people that I followed, were actually like leaning more on the negative side. But since then, and hearing from more people, and actually being able to watch a full playthrough of, what a game! It is. I would never try it, but it is one of those games that you are amazed by its world and how it's structured, from the outside snowy town to kind of going into each of the houses or buildings that are kind of around the area in terms of the different, you know, places in that, like the castle estate, I guess. And I mean, the few things that I took away from it were the, you know, and I won't go too spoilery for anyone who hasn't played it, but there is this one really scary one that involves kind of being trapped in a basement, I think with like no weapons.
Yep, no weapons.
Yeah, and that is very scary to watch unfold, but is also very cool for its like puzzle and kind of trying to kind of navigate a really, you know, very scary situation overall. And of course, yeah, like the characters in the game are really great. Ethan Winters, I know that he gets a bad rap a lot for just being like just this generic character.
He's the guy that looks like Griffin McElroy, right?
I don't even think he has a look. I don't think they've even established that in the game. I think that he just has like, he's just like whatever. But like everyone else in that game, in terms of you know, Redfield and all the four like big monsters that you face in the game, plus like the main villain as well, like all of them are so good. It's a fantastic iteration in the game. I definitely think if I were to pick up a Resident Evil, this would be the one that I would try, because I like the puzzle elements, I like the exploration elements,
and boobies.
But will I never do that? Who knows? But it's very good. It's a very, very, and it's deserving of all the accolades that it has gotten.
Well said.
I really like that replayability aspect of it, of things that you miss the first time around, especially when a game is so based around exploring and specifically not getting caught exploring. You're going to miss some things. So finding some extra stuff in the game, rewarding you for that is really cool.
Yeah, and there's even... This is what caught me off guard. Because when I play through a game, I'm always like, okay, I think this hallway is the one they want me to go down, so I'm going to pick the other hallway so I don't lose out on anything. And I did that, and I missed an achievement, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I've been everywhere you could be. It turns out you're supposed to revisit somewhere you've already been for an optional boss fight. And when I learned that, I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. So it has just tons of little things like that, where the more that you play it, the more that you like come to understand what the full picture of the game is, and it's just really something to experience.
Yeah. In terms of like the various villains, obviously, like you were saying earlier, like yeah, like the Lady Dimitrescu or Domitiscu or whatever, fucking big Milky Mama lady. She's like the star of this game in terms of just in terms of just her being just this powerhouse in her design and the execution by the voice acting and it just in terms of just being the face of the game. Was she your favorite character in terms of like the big bads, or did you have someone else that you really liked?
I'm really glad you asked that question. My favorite character is Carl Heisenberg.
Yeah.
He's the character you see with like the kind of circular glasses, and he has like this real like old school like kind of like rock energy to him.
Is he the guy with the hood?
Yes. Well, Hood, he has this kind of hat, like this big hat and a hammer, giant hammer. He just has like this sense of humor that's really dark, and he has a really interesting speech pattern. One of my favorite lines is, "Hello, Ethan. Time to die." And it's like, all right, okay. But he has a really interesting role in the game itself, and they do a good job of kind of explaining all the villains, even if it's not in ways of them talking to you. I think that he has a really good depth of personality and writing where his character is kind of more human than the rest of them, and I think that's intentional. But I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Sure.
My favorite thing about between the two games is how Ethan Winters loses his right hand like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's true.
You played it 5 times, Anthony. How do you know how many times he actually loses his hand? Because it is a shocking amount.
So in Resident Evil 7, he loses, then regains his left hand. In Resident Evil 8, he gets fingers bitten off. He loses his hand once and gets it back. And I think that's it, unless there's a fourth time, Gabe.
Like, how does his hand function after that?
They explain it.
It's that magic water.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that magic water that you pour on, right? That's totally it. There's nothing else.
Yes, that medicine that's been in the old European village cabinets for like 3 decades.
Yes, that's it. That's the healing powers. Yeah, I do remember the thing that really got me intrigued by the game was the scene. There's a scene that you're in the castle being chased by the big lady, and you go to like pull down the lever, and you just all of a sudden just quick flash, and his arm just slips off his hand. And then he just takes a moment and then just starts screaming, and it's so funny. It is gory, but it's so funny when that happens.
That is such a good section, and you have to go and get it back, and then you have to go around one more time to try and open that gate again.
Oh.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Are you constantly losing health at that point?
No. You go to like your screen visually shows that you're at the lowest health point, but your health itself doesn't deteriorate. But at that point you are being actively chased, and she does a lot of damage if she gets you.
Trash game, garbage.
A little something for everyone.
There you go. All right. Well, if there is no other further discussion on that front, we will move forward. It is time to go back to Eorzea? Is that the
Eorzea, yep.
Eorzea for Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, baby, Endwalker is out, and it's glorious. Matt, hit us with it.
All right, so I got into Final Fantasy last year, about 13 months ago, to be completely accurate, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's been my obsession the past year, and everyone has known that, and I apologize that that's been most of what I talk about. But Endwalker did come out. Endwalker is the final expansion of this storyline that started with A Realm Reborn, which came out in like 2012. And holy shit, it blew all of my expectations out of the water.
Very nice.
Everyone went in knowing that it was the end. Everyone had their own expectations. Everyone had an idea about how the story was going to end. And even kind of the way that they marketed it led people to kind of believe, and myself included, that something was going to happen. And, just kind of like general RPG story type things. There was an ending that I'm sure that a lot of people were expecting specifically to happen. And I'm going to get into a lot more spoilery things in a second. So if you want to skip my section, just know this is Final Fantasy XIV is my favorite game of all time. Endwalker solidified that. It's one of the best stories out there. You obviously need all of the context from all of the previous expansions. You wouldn't just start playing right at Endwalker. You would play through the whole game first. If you have any interest in long-form RPG storytelling, as soon as this game fucking goes on sale again, buy it.
I can't fucking play the game.
I know.
No one can play it.
No one can play it right now, but I promise.
It's a
when
game.
you can't...
It's a game that just floats through the ether. No one can play, but it's an exclusive club.
Ether is a big part of the game.
Vaporware
so cool
to
that you said
certain
that.
people.
So, if once you are able to buy it, I really recommend it. Now it's going to be me talking a little bit of spoiler stuff. So, you have been warned. So, what I was mentioning was the entire story was pitched as, it's the end to the Hydaelyn and Zodiark story. Hydaelyn is like the god who like summons you. You as the playable character are the warrior of light, basically her emissary and her force in the world to do good. And then Zodiark is what the bad guys are trying to summon, her evil counterpart essentially, who is believed to be a result, or at least related to what's called the Final Days, which is this extreme apocalyptic event. And that's kind of what the crux of Endwalker is about. So you think with Hydaelyn and Zodiark being this major thing, major plot point, all that stuff, you'd think that Zodiark would be the final boss, and he's the first boss of the expansion.
Say what?
Yeah. So that alone, I think, just encapsulates what Endwalker was able to do. And I'm not going to get into all of the specifics just because it would take way too long. But the story was consistently able to do things that were both completely unexpected. There's no way that you would have expected this specific turn to happen. And also made absolute 100% sense to happen in the moment, which is a marvel of storytelling and something that I didn't think was going to be able to be topped. Or I did not think that Shadowbringers, as an example, was going to be able to be topped, and Endwalker topped it in a lot of respects. I could go on all day, but the thing that really stuck out to me about Endwalker were kind of all of its central themes, and I think it was the perfect way to end this fucking 250-hour plus story. And that is essentially the meaning of life. What does it mean to live? There's a lot of suffering that happens, and despite the suffering, there are still so many great parts of living that we get to be a part of. And I don't know, after the past couple of years, it's been hard and maybe not the easiest to kind of find those reasons to like live and keep going when it feels like death is so close. But the ways that they were able to portray what we live for and how we as people support each other, help each other through these tragedies. It was a masterclass in storytelling, and it's a message that's going to stick with me for so fucking long. And I said this to a lot of people afterwards, but I felt like a changed person once I finished Endwalker, because it was just such a masterclass of storytelling, of weaving the music in with its themes, of making sure that you understood what was going on and why the things were happening that needed to happen. And I was blown away by every single moment of it.
Sounds incredible.
It is, is insane. This turnaround, this build up to this moment in time, and I know it's probably frustrating for some that they can't get access to the game, or that the launch was kind of rough because of the servers and things like that. But you can just tell that the people that work on this game really care about putting all of their heart and soul into it.
They do.
And it really it's been on my timeline constantly all month. You know how much people are really loving this, and for some it's maybe not necessarily their favorite, but it's a expansion that does a great job capping off what has been just such a long journey. And like you said, Matt, I mean, you've only been part of this game for 13 months or so, but you know, it's like you literally like lived a lifetime in game. Of going on all these different adventures with the same crew and maybe with different people on the way. And it's just something that it's adventures like that and things like that and about video games in general that just kind of are so meaningful and so impactful. And there's no better example of that today than I think Final Fantasy XIV at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts from anyone else on Endwalker?
I've got one if no one else says anything.
I do have something, but you can go first.
Okay. So I've kind of been this. One of the reasons why this game is I put it as like my favorite of all time, and why my Discord icon is probably going to be my character for like for maybe forever, at least as long as I'm playing the game.
Sure.
Is I compare what the Warrior of Light has gone through, kind of compared to what I've gone through the past year and how he was at the start of his journey and where I was as a person at the start of his journey last year. And one of the themes and why I think this game is so special in having a user created silent protagonist. This game is able to really reach to you personally with the specific character that you make as either like a reflection of yourself or just like a character that you make. You really get into the role of this character if you make them in a way that you can relate to, but it's you are doing all these things. And one thing that really fucking struck me in Endwalker specifically was how much a lot of the plot, especially a lot of the dialogue between you and your friends and your allies, was around burden. Because since you are the Warrior of Light, like I said, you have the blessing of Hydaelyn. You are the one who's going to save the world. You're the video game protagonist. Like this is your show. But it leads to a feeling that you have to shoulder the burden, this massive burden. Not just of like your own life, but literally the fate of the universe on your shoulders. So your friends in their own ways talk to you a lot about how you're not alone and you don't have to carry this burden by yourself, and all the things that are weighing you down are not something that you have to go through by yourself. And they do that in their own ways. When you do something that's a little bit selfish to save your friends' lives, but risk your own, one of your friends scolds you a bit and basically calls you an idiot for doing that. A lot of them, most of them are more sympathetic than that, but that's her character, and I love her for it. But it with me and with all that I've gone through the past year in terms of mainly job related stuff, but just life happening. I've often felt, and this has just been something that I've been trying to work on, but I've often felt that I've had to do a lot of things alone, and I know that I know that I'm not, but having all these characters also saying, "Hey, you don't have to go through this by yourself. You're not alone." It really put things into perspective for me, and I really appreciate the game for doing that, and really hit home and really hit hard for me in a way that I was not expecting.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
That was so touching.
Yeah, it's really it's great. It's great when any kind of media can just reach into that part of you and really change you for the better and help you get through something that's been kind of difficult to deal with. It's really amazing. And it's a mark of a really really powerful story overall.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Pretty much, like, the fact that we've been living in this constant trauma for going on 2 years now. You know, it's really tough, and video games are meant to be an escape for us. But they don't really interact with us on a deeper level, you know, a lot of the time. But it sounds like this game has, and that's something really important and special.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
I could probably write a full like essay on everything that it comes out with, but this is a podcast, can't talk about it all the time.
No,
So.
well, listen. I mean, if there's any game that was I would say like super consistent, but that ended up being part of this year for us, it was Final Fantasy XIV, because you brought it to the table and you kept on telling us about your adventures about it, and I like that. I like that this has been a platform for you to really be able to kind of like go hard and like talking about how much you have enjoyed this game. I think it's a perfect example of what this show does and is meant to represent. Just talk about a game that you're super passionate about, and I think it's great. It's been quite the journey to get here, even though it's only been 13 months, because that is a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, next up, we have a game that, well, I guess Endwalker is recent, but another December release that came out just a few weeks ago, but has been winning the heart of one Gabe. It's Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. Gabe, talk to us about it.
Now, to preface this, this is not nearly as deep of a connection to me as Endwalker was to Matt. So
That's okay.
It's okay. We don't expect that level of emotional attachment to all the games. It's okay.
I do, and now I'm disappointed.
sorry, I failed you. I failed everyone.
No, it's okay. Tell me about the Guzzle Sprite Sprocket Luncheon.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so the game just came out like not even 2 weeks ago, I think. Or was it a week? I'm not sure.
It's been exactly 2 weeks, it looks like.
2 weeks? Okay. And to preface this, I was originally going to talk about Metroid Dread because that game is fantastic. But I kind of changed my mind at the very last minute to talk about this one because I feel like it needs to be recognized more, even though it just came out. So the game goes like this. You play as Shovel Knight, and you get trapped in a little puzzle cube. And you are stuck with two other characters. I forget what. One of them is Chester. He's one of like a kind of mainstay character of the Shovel Knight series. And there's Puzzle Knight, and Puzzle Knight's face is literally just a keyhole. So it's a really cute design. But so you're stuck with those two, and then you make a base camp. And the way the game goes, it's like a puzzle game slash roguelike. And what I mean by that is there's a game board. It's like I think a 6x6 game board, I think, or something like that, where blocks periodically, several different items and enemies periodically fall from the top of the screen, and you have to interact with them and like by just bumping into them. Every time you hit an enemy, you take 1 damage. However, if you hit multiple enemies while they're connecting to each other, you deal damage to all of those enemies, and you can kill them all at once if you have enough health, or if you manage to recover enough health with different items that are on the board. And the reason why I say it's also a roguelike is because at the base camp, after every run, you have the option of purchasing new items that can upgrade and also help you on your journey, because every board, while it is a central area in the Shovel Knight games, there are also sub areas, and every board is completely randomized. So you cannot plan for a specific item to come by or a specific event to happen. It is all entirely random. So you have to play with what you've got and like just be at odds with whatever the game will throw at you. So you can play a Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight, Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, King Knight, uh, uh, oops, um, Propeller Knight. You can also play as Treasure Knight. That's 5 of the 8. Tinker Knight. Wow, I'm a fake Shovel Knight fan.
It's okay. Were these all like protagonists from like different parts of Shovel Knight, or were some of them like the antagonist in there or something?
They're all boss characters.
Oh, okay.
From the original Shovel Knight game. However, King Knight, Plague Knight, and Spectre Knight are all playable characters in their own campaigns in the original game.
I see. Okay.
But every character that you play as is either an original character for the game or a boss character from the original Shovel Knight game. And every character has a different playstyle, such as Spectre Knight. You can't heal from any heal items on the board. You actually take damage from them. However, if you kill an enemy, you regain 2 HP back. So it's like you have to constantly damage enemies to heal yourself. However, you still take damage. So it's like a balancing act of taking down weaker enemies to heal yourself to take down bigger enemies. And Plague Knight, for example, he uses poison. So if you hit an enemy, they will be poisoned and they will take 1 extra tick of damage. However, Plague Knight has a lesser HP pool, so you have to be conscious and wary about how many times you hit someone, while also rhythmically keeping in time, like how many hits you've given them to how many ticks of poison damage they take. So it's those are just the 2 that I've unlocked so far, but I'm I'm sure that all of the other knights have different playstyles. Like I'm sure Treasure Knight has some sort of gimmick where he'll get more powerful if he collects enough treasure, because you do every chain of enemy that you defeat, you get a treasure based on how many enemies of that chain you've defeated. So it's just a constant game of defeat enemies as many as you can, while also keeping yourself alive, while like just keeping the roll going for how many items slash keys that will enter the fray. Because at the end of each level, you do need to collect a key to open a door to the exit, and then you get to move on to the next stage. The game is very difficult.
I imagine, yeah.
It is very difficult, but I managed to make it to the Treasure Knight section, which is the 4th level of like I don't even know how many, because up to get up to that point, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 main levels and then 2 sub areas. So that's 6 levels that I had to go through to get to Treasure Knight, and that's about as far as I've gone because I'm not very good at the game just yet. But it's easy to get into, but it's kind of hard to master since it's both random, but it's also kind of like just keeping things in check while also preventing the board from filling up. Because if the board does fill up all the way, it's game over. Like you cannot recover, and then you just die. So you have to start from the beginning, or you get a quick restart from wherever you start from. So that's like the gist of the game. The game is presentation-wise, it's gorgeous. Such really good, high-quality pixel art. The soundtrack is phenomenal too. Jake Hoffman actually posted the whole soundtrack on the Yacht Club Games official YouTube channel, and it is just consistently good. It is just a bop the entire way through, and it's about like an hour and a half total OST. So it's very good, very high quality music, very high quality visuals, just very fun gameplay overall, and it's just a very good time overall.
For me, I this seems like it could be very addicting. I'd probably get frustrated by it if I don't do well with it, but I could totally see how this is, this could be like really, really interesting. I think just my main takeaway from this though is just like, it is fantastic that an indie game was able to become so successful that now they're just becoming like, there's just these branches of now of these like these spin-off games that they get to create now and kind of continue building the world in their own unique way. It does look gorgeous. It looks like a great, like, fun little pixel game. In terms of its look, and man, it's just really amazing how successful Yacht Club has been about this IP in particular. And I think it definitely is. I wonder when their next like huge adventure is going to be, but this is a nice, I guess fill-in game in the middle of maybe like two bigger games. But seems like it's a really good one, regardless.
See, the thing is, Yacht Club game actually did recently release another like big project. It's called Cyber Shadow, and it is another like 8-bit styled action platformer. It's also very good. However, with Pocket Dungeon, this is just a spinoff. Like the next mainline Shovel Knight game is still in development, and there was footage released of it last year. However, it's right now I think it's being delayed for whatever reason. It's called Shovel Knight Dig, and it's like it's. Have you ever heard of Mr. Driller?
I think I've heard of it. I have to look it up.
Well, Mr. Driller, like the whole deal with that game is you have to constantly dig down in order to gain treasure and to avoid dying because as you dig down, the ground above starts to fall, and you have to keep digging down until you reach your goal. That's pretty much what Shovel Knight Dig is from all the footage that's been shown so far. So that's something to look forward to. However, with this game right now, I'm definitely going to be getting hours upon hours of fun from it.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're now just kind of like with the main Shovel Knight games. It seems like they're just kind of permanently kind of going into like just changing the format of then. Like they're not necessarily creating like a new Shovel Knight, like what it was initially. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, definitely, because technically, Shovel Knight, the original Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, is 5 games.
That's true. I forgot how much is in that initial game.
Or 4. What am I? Well, no, 5 because the new mode that was added for Treasure Trove. It's like a kind of like a Smash clone, which is also very fun.
Is that Shovel Knight Showdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's the 4 main playable characters and then Showdown.
Very nice. Very nice. And did anyone outside of Gabe? Did anyone else play like OG Shovel Knight?
I did not.
No. Yeah, I definitely want to try the OG Shovel Knight at some point because it is one of the greatest indie success stories, and I feel like I love indie games and I'm just willing to give it a shot. And I do love the aesthetic so much of this game, as well. So, but I again, like I said, it's nice to see so much success with Pocket Dungeon and just with all their games, that they're coming out with. Yeah, Cyber Shadow. It's surprising because I feel like that came out early this year, and I only started seeing the name pop up again recently because of Game of the Year conversations. And I had no idea that it was from Yacht Club. Had not a single clue. And that does make a lot of sense, though, based off of what I'm seeing of this game of Cyber Shadow right now. So, yeah. And if no one else has anything to add, we can go on to the mid-seg. And it's a doozy. Matt, what do you have planned for us?
All right, everybody. All right, listen. I'm asking you. No, now there's 2 ways we could do this. I'm going to be quizzing you guys on a little podcast called the Gaming Coop podcast.
Oh boy.
Ah, shit.
I think I've heard of this one.
So I ask you to either have a piece of paper ready that you could write on, or because there is a written portion to this test. No, I'm kidding. Or if you want to message me directly, that's fine too. I'm asking everybody to play on the honor system of, is the answer A, B, C, or D? Answer on your own, and then I reveal the answer, and then you guys are like, oh, I had that wrong, but, oh, I had it right the whole time. No, I trust you guys. So this is for fun.
Yes.
It's for extra
Cool.
credit.
Fun.
How many questions are there?
That's a little abstract.
Oh my god.
It depends. I guess it depends on how long the segment is.
Yes. So some of almost all of the questions though are most of them are multiple choice. There's a true or false section, and I took out the essay portion.
Okay.
But all right, are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we? So we're not going to post it in the chat. Then we have to direct message you for this.
You don't have to direct message. You could write it down wherever.
Okay.
So for example, for this first question, and if you every answer that you get right, you'll get a point. And I am asking everybody to also keep track of their own points as well.
Okay.
So, for example, the first question: what month was the first Gaming Coop? And I have 4 answers here: June, July, August, or September. Everyone write down your answer now, or have it in your head, or do whatever you gotta do. You guys ready?
Yes. I'm just gonna
Yep.
I'm gonna direct message it to you. Okay, go ahead.
And the answer was August.
No.
Nice.
Damn
Got
it.
Got
It's
it.
in September.
I did September also.
Okay.
I'm a fake fan.
Which of these video games did we not cover? Fall Guys, Among Us, Sly Cooper, or Part-Time UFO? Please write your answers in now. Is everybody ready?
No.
Okay.
I'm between 2.
Me too.
Now, also, do not be afraid to ask me, can you, share in chat the question or the list of the answers if having it in front of you helps.
Can you share and chat the answer?
The answer? Yeah, sure.
Are we good for the answer?
Yeah, I think we are.
I'm ready.
All right, the answer
I'm
is
ready.
Sly Cooper.
Yes.
Fuck.
I'm actually surprised by that. I really thought
Yeah.
Matt would have
Okay,
talked about it.
I have
Yeah.
a reason for that because earlier this year, Matt, or was it late last year? I forget.
No, I
Um,
think it was this year. Probably over the
okay.
summer or something.
Earlier this year, Matt did a whole run through of the entire Sly Cooper series for me, and for whatever reason, I mixed that up with the podcast.
Now, I wouldn't blame you. We had our Valentine's Day episode in which Matt talked about Sly, what is it? Carmelita?
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
we did
Sly
not
Carmelita.
cover the game of Sly Cooper.
Oh, that's tricky, Ricky. All right,
That is a little
I
bit
know.
tricky.
I want to
It's a little bit tricky.
I get it. I get what you're saying, though.
We talked
So
about
now-
Carmelita, and that's Sly.
Yes.
Yeah. So
We
now-
talked about their toxicity.
So for this one, I will give a quarter answer if you can only get a single one, but a full point if you can get all 4. Can you name all the mobile gaming houses?
Oh, God.
No.
Ah.
Where I give you guys a quiz, very Hogwarts style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we have
I
And
think-
they-
4 options?
There are. This is not multiple choice. I'm asking that is fill in the blank. There's the House of Blank, the House of Blank, the House of Blank, and the House of Blank.
Shit.
Fuck.
I'm forgetting the specifics of it. I think I got one,
I think
but I'm
I have
not
one.
confident in the other 3.
I know I have one.
All right,
Okay.
I've got 3. I don't think they're all right, but
Each one of these is a quarter of a point for each one right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the houses of Puzzle,
Okay.
Strategy, Skill, and Story.
okay, I got 2.
I got
I
one.
got one.
1.
I got two. Wait,
And
what was
now-
what was
Oh, wait, no, I
wait
got
what was
two.
what was the last 2? Can you say the last 2 again?
It was Puzzle, Strategy, Skill, and Story.
Okay, skill and story I did not get yet. Okay.
Yeah, I got puzzle and story.
Now, everyone can now gain a bonus point. No, an extra quarter point. If you remember what we decided was the name of the school.
No fucking way.
I think I remember.
Because
think I
Chris
remember.
named it, and I fucking went off on him.
I know it. I know it. I know it.
I
And
have.
this will only be a quarter of a point.
Oh, that's right.
No,
Hold
you
on.
said an
I
extra
wrote-
point. That's not fucking fair.
All right, sure, extra point.
I'm not keeping. I'm actually should be keeping track of this.
Yes, keep track of your own points, please.
Oh, I forget exactly what.
I think I remember it.
All right, let me know you guys
Time's up.
ready. You guys ready?
Yes.
Matt, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. The name of the school was Pig Pimples.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
So is that 1 quarter or 1 point?
That
It's
is
1
1
point for
point.
me. It's a quarter point for everybody else.
I now have half a point.
All right, 1 point.
All right. Now we're going back to multiple choice. What was the first MIG segment? Ooh, you know what? God, you know what? I was listening back. To a bunch of Gaming Coop episodes. There are so many times where I flub my words, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. What was the first mid segment of the Gaming Coop? Video game trivia, Yahoo Answers, Pig Pimples mobile game houses, or Smash Brothers Most Likely Twos?
I feel like
Could you paste? Can you paste the options in chat?
Sure. Give me one moment.
Thank you.
it's been a moment.
Can you, when you say most likely to, do you mean like in a yearbook, like most likely to be famous type
Yep.
things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
those
Okay.
yeah, they were superlatives. But I always forget what that word means, so.
It's exactly what you think it is. It's the most likely to. Just these extra titles, hence the super. Word
Alright.
parts.
All right, I got my answer.
I got mine.
All right, and the first mid
Nickelodeon.
segment, the first mid segment was Yahoo Answers.
Woo!
Ah, damn! I thought it was trivia.
Video game trivia was the second one. That was the
Okay.
one where I asked you. The final question was, "What was the plot of Fortnite?" And I didn't even have the answer to that one. But the first one was video game related Yahoo Answers ones.
Okay.
Now, this one I will post because it's a little wordy.
Oh, you're gonna have to read it though.
Oh yeah. So, which one of these Gaming Coop episode titles is not real? Chicken Wars, Belly Buttons, and Wildstar Memories. We Make a Lot of Noise. Taking Two, Donut Counties, and the Golden Potato. Or Try Your Luck at Jack Black.
I feel like
I feel
I
like
feel
all of
bad.
these.
These are all titles.
I know. Okay, I'm also going to say Chris does have a major advantage at this game.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes.
He's
Like,
the one who posts, maintains, edits, and does like pretty much everything for the Gaming Coop.
yeah, and here's the thing. So what I'll say is this: I will have a point total, but if I'm like the quote unquote winner of this, I'm giving it to the next highest person because I just feel bad. I have a lot of bias here.
We'll see.
of
There's
having
a
a lot of
segment.
knowledge.
There's a segment where some things can change.
Okay, who knows? All right.
Oh my! This is hard. This is really hard.
Psst, Chris,
Yes.
what's the answer?
Yeah.
This might be the hardardest question on the quiz.
This
It's good. Can I just say though? I know what the wrong answer is, and I think it is very good. It's very good what you came up with.
the fucking
Because it's
golden
kind
potato.
of close to what it was originally.
Yes. Yep.
The golden potato is just war flashbacks.
All right, everybody have their answer?
I guess.
All right, take
Yeah.
a guess. The episode title that is not real is Taking Two, Donut
Yes!
Counties, and the Golden Potato.
Oh, that was my first guess.
Which
And I changed it.
The real episode title is Puzzles, Dreams, and the Golden Potato.
Okay.
I
I
know
pulled
that
that one out of my ass.
Taking Two. I
All
don't
right,
know why I
now
know
this
that, but I do.
now this one is kind of a two-parter, but don't share your answer to the first part just yet. You're just gonna write it down. In the episode, An Ode to Art, you were asked by me to draw a character from memory. What character were you specifically asked to draw?
Okay, I remember.
A character
So
from
write that down.
memory. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Is this the same segment where we had to like speed run draw, or is this a separate one?
Yeah, this was like a
Oh,
speed
okay,
run
okay.
draw. I gave you guys a very limited amount of time.
Gotcha.
I know this because I was the one that drew it.
I think I know what your part 2 question is going to be.
Now, my part 2 question is a little bit longer. I am now going to share each picture, and you have to write down privately your guess as to who drew each one.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
So here we have Bayonetta.
Gunleg
Just 'cause
McGee.
This was really... I just wanted to remind you guys of these amazing drawings. We have Pikachu. We have Tom Nook. It does not let me go through them very easily. We have Kirby.
Okay, I know who drew that one.
I love the Kirby one.
And we have Foxcloud.
Okay.
And each of these is worth a point each.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Can I, when you go to read the answer, can I try to guess first? Because I think I have them.
Sure.
Okay, I think I have 2 of them.
Nope, he wasn't part of this.
It is all the people that were here, just not me.
Yeah.
The fucking
I wanna say-
Bayonetta hair.
I want to say Chris for so many of these.
I think I have all 4.
Okay. Well, that's worrying because there's 5.
Other than his own, which I'm sure he knows.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a little gimme point.
Yeah.
All right, everybody ready?
Hold on.
Yeah, no, I'm just typing in my answer. It's very messy, but just gotta give me a second.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good. I got it.
Wait, 1 sec. I'm good.
So now remember, the way that I'm grading this, you will get a point for if you were able to name your own before I posted the pictures as well, and then a point for each picture. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, Kelsey, go try your luck.
Okay, I'm just gonna name the names down the list.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the order is Anthony, Matt, Chris, Kelsey, Gabe.
That is incorrect.
Oh no.
Can I take a
Switch
guess?
Gabe and Matt, maybe?
Sure, but say the character's name and then the artist.
Bayonetta, Anthony, Pikachu, Chris, Tom Nook, myself, Kirby, Kelsey, Fox McCloud, Gabe.
Yes, correct.
Oh, I switched
Okay, that
to
was-
Chris.
That is the entire order that I said, that I thought.
Wait, okay. I'm sorry. Can you
Yes.
say it slower so I can?
Yeah, sorry. Bayonetta was drawn by Anthony.
Okay.
Pikachu by Chris.
Yep.
Tom Nook by me.
Okay.
Kirby by Kelsey. Fox McCloud by Gabe.
Okay.
All right. Now
For some
this
reason,
is the
Chris
light.
didn't Tom Nook in my brain.
Now this one is the lightning round, in which our you know what? Let's check in right now. How's everybody doing on points?
I currently have 5.5 points.
I'm at 9.5.
How much was the house question again?
The house question. It was a quarter point for each house that you got right, and then a full point if you got pig pimples.
Okay, so I have 1,
6.5 then.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 8.5.
Kelsey, Anthony, how you guys doing?
I have 6 1/4.
I have 7.5.
All right, now this one's gonna be a fun lightning round because there's a possible 20 points that you can get right now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
As we do 20 back lightning round true or false.
Oh my
answers.
god. All right, let's just say we just hit the hour mark, so let's try to get through this.
I have the lightning round, and then I have a finale question.
All right.
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In the episode Scary and Hairy, you guys gave me a list of words to describe the monster that we drew. I will give a word, and you must write down true or false if it was a characteristic of the monster that was mentioned. So, for example, my first one is the word hairy. Real quick, to yourself, write down yes or no. You'll have 3 seconds. And then I will say...
It's yes or no, not true or false?
Whatever, true or false.
Okay.
You'll write down, so hairy, you guys have your answer?
Yes.
Yep.
Hairy was true. That was a word given. Ready to keep going?
Yep.
Yes.
All
Yep.
right. Next word is scary. 3, 2, 1. False.
Okay.
Scary was
Yep.
not given. Moist. Moist was given.
Okay.
Ah, damn.
Yes.
Dynamic. Dynamic was not given.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Colorful. Colorful was given.
Okay.
Zesty. Zesty was not given. So zesty
Damn.
was false. Bubbly. Bubbly is true. Animatronic. Animatronic is false. That was not given.
Damn it!
Fishy. Fishy is false. Fishy was not given.
Come on! What am I doing?
Rigid. Rigid was given. That is true. Communist. Communist is false. That was not given.
Okay.
Modern. Modern is true. Modern was given. Minimalist. Minimalist is false. Minimalist was not given.
Okay.
Concubescent.
What does that mean?
Like a concubine.
You ready?
What is a concubine?
A kept woman.
Oh.
The term concubescent means that you are lustful, and that is true.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That was
good.
a word that was given.
I
It
just
was
took
a
a
word
shot in the
I
dark.
Glamorous. Glamorous is false.
Ah.
That's not given. Robotic. Robotic is true.
Okay.
Porous. Porous is true.
Okay.
I remember that one very
I
clearly.
remember that one.
Salient. Salient is false. I think that means like to be very important. I just wanted to give another like complex word or a new vocab word. All right. Celibate. Celibate is false.
Well, she's
That's what I
concubescent.
figured.
I know, but you guys don't know. And voluptuous.
Okay, I do remember this one.
And voluptuous is true.
So that
I
was
remember
20?
that was the one that wrote that
That
one
was
down.
20. There was 10 correct and 10 incorrect.
Okay, but in terms of the amount that... So do we add it up, and the amount that we got right is the amount of points we get?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to
Holy
run down
shit.
the list and just go true, true, false, whatever?
Sure.
Or, you know what? I will just post it.
Okay.
Each... this is my list. Each word with a star next to it is true.
I got a lot of points.
Now, bonus. What was the name of our monster?
Fuck.
This is worth a point.
Um,
I feel like I named her.
I think you
I
probably
think you did.
did.
Yep.
Oh, fuck, I can't remember. I did get 19 points, though.
I got 16.
I know you guys are adding up your points from the true or false section, so I'll give you a moment.
Yeah, I got 17 out of that.
Me too.
Hey.
I will not require correct spelling. I will, to be fair, like, I didn't remember the name of the monster, too. I was slightly off, and I had to check it.
This is the last question?
Nope, there will be one more question.
Oh, this is just a bonus.
Alright, I'm going to give the name of the monster. Does anybody have it?
Yeah, it's
No.
Mary Death.
Yeah!
Meredith.
Wow.
Oh, I remember.
And
that.
now-
Yay!
And now, everybody write down, this is the writing portion of the quiz. Name a video game reference that is in the Gaming Coop podcast art. And this question, we'll say this question's worth 5 points.
For just one reference?
Just one reference.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it.
Alright. In Discord order, everybody go down the list, skipping me, and name whatever your reference was.
Wait, what was the name bonus? It was 1 point?
1 point.
Okay.
So starting with Commander Shepard, what was your
Reference?
Gaming Coop podcast art video game reference?
Froggy Chair from Animal Crossing.
Hell yeah. Anthony?
I completely blanked. Did not answer.
Ooh. Sorry, but blank is not a video game reference. All right,
I mean,
Chris.
it is if you count from that fan games.
Yoshi Egg.
Gabe?
Precursor Orb.
All right, and Matt?
I also wrote down Froggy Chair.
Hell yeah. All right. And that last one was worth 5, so you guys can add up your points. I have no idea what the possible total you could have is. maybe I'll see.
I have 27 and a half.
32 and a half.
23 and a quarter.
Chris?
Are you waiting till the end to reveal your
Oh, no,
results?
I was just for being nice and letting people go. I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I have 32 and a half. I tied with Matt.
Ooh.
I'm at 31 and a half.
Oh.
Wow.
Nice.
Is 32 and a half the highest?
Yep,
No.
I think tie between me and Kelsey.
32 and a half is the highest. It's not the most you could have gotten, though. I think you could have gotten
No.
35.
I got 1, 2,
I got 2 and a
3,
half
4,
wrong.
5.
Oh, no. 3 and a half wrong.
I got 5 and a half wrong.
Wait, then how do we
Alright,
have the same...
Did you? So I got 3 wrong in the monster adjectives, and then I got 2 regular questions wrong.
Okay, I don't want to dwell on it because we're running it. I don't
Yeah.
want time-wise to...
Me and Kelsey tied.
All right, I hope you... Yeah, congratulations, you guys. You guys are the
I'm
Game
just
Coop
giving you my
experts.
notepad that I wrote down, so if
Sure.
anybody really wants to look at it, but I probably did my math wrong. Anyway, Mass Effect.
It has been 2 years since we started Team Chaos Productions, and we would not be where we are today without the help of Anchor. You've heard us talk about it all the time, but let me remind you, this completely free platform gives creators the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or phone. Once done, Anchor will distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more so you don't have to. You can also make some money on the episodes with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcasting platform, so download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting.
Hi, my name is Matthew J. Walsh, the host of the Over Heaven podcast, a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast where we'll be looking at each episode of the newest animated Part 6, Stone Ocean. We'll have a variety of guests, from JoJo fans like myself to people who have absolutely no idea what's happening at all. Join us every Friday as we fill the void of JoJo Fridays and celebrate what makes this series great. Knowing what's going on is not mandatory to the listening experience, but might be recommended for a good laugh. Catch us on Twitter at OverHeavenPod or as part of the podcasting group Team Chaos Productions.
yes, as we transition, there was a lot of great games that came out this year, but there was also some pretty solid remasters that came out as well, and one of the best ones this year was Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Kelsey, talk about it.
Yes, sir. So I can't believe that Chris was trying to help me pick what to talk about because I don't play a lot of games. The games that I play really hard. Like I get obsessive, but I don't play like a lot of variety. So, Chris and I were talking about it, and he was like, "You've never talked about Mass Effect," and I was like, "Bullshit! I've never talked about Mass Effect." And he was like, "No, you really haven't," and I was shocked. So the Legendary Edition, which came out in May, has now given me this opportunity to talk about probably my favorite game series of all time. I think that if I had to pick, I think Mass Effect just squeaks out as number one. Um, but Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect game originally dropped in 2007, and then the two subsequent sequels came out hereafter. Um, but the Legendary Edition dropped in May, and it included a lot of visual updates, retexturizations, even some more game content, and some like smoothing out of some things that people didn't love from the first iterations of the game. But possibly my favorite way to give a little bit of more, I guess, professional reference to the game, just because I don't want to like endlessly unstructuredly speak about it, is if okay, I would like to just read a small clip from a Games Radar article that was published 7 months ago, where it was somebody attempting to discuss the Legendary Edition in review. But the subtitle is "The Only Way to Play an Unmissable Series," and I very much agree that the series is unmissable. But the writer is Alyssa Mercanti. She says the Mass Effect trilogy is to modern video games what its mass relays are to humanity. In the series lore, tens of thousands of years ago, an advanced alien race scattered mass relays around the Milky Way, which acted as breadcrumbs, leading humans to the galaxy's farthest stars. In 2007, Mass Effect was dropped into the cultural conversation by BioWare, and along with its successors, acted as a beacon for nearly every modern blockbuster game made in its impressive wake. Whether it's the sprawling, lore-heavy world that envelops you like the vacuum of space, the vibrant and impressively large cast of characters that stays with you long after the credits, or the choices that threaten to rend your heart to shreds, there's ample reason why Mass Effect is widely considered the modern RPG touchstone. And I just felt like that encompasses exactly how I feel about the series and about the game. There's like at least an entire console generation between when it was originally released and when it was just remastered and released. But there's well over 100 hours of gameplay. I think that there's like 50 hours in Mass Effect 3 alone. And I'm a huge fan of long form games. I prefer them. I'm not really somebody who has, it almost sounds funny to say this, but I don't have the attention span to jump around between smaller games, and I definitely can't play more than one game at once. So my favorite way to game is to cover like one deep dive into one long game. And I personally have found that the remaster has just like chef's kiss. Like I have not at this point come across anything that is really upsetting in the remaster. One of the biggest calls for me is the fact that in the originals, if you bought them, I'm trying to think. I think I really only started looking into like the DLCs when I was playing it on the PC briefly. I'm not really a PC gamer either, but when I did that a little bit. You had to pay for all the DLC, and there was so much DLC, and like each little thing. And Anthony, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, each little piece of DLC could range between like $5 and $15, and there was
Yeah.
so much of it that it was like if you really wanted to absorb all of the content, you were shelling out well beyond what the original cost of the game was for you. And I mean, at that point when I was playing it, we're talking probably like 2014, 15. And so it had been 7 8 years from the original game. They had come down a lot in price in random sales. But even then, like, the DLC never came down in price. So it was a lot for that extra content. With the remaster, all of that content's just automatically included, and you get all 3 games for only $60, not on sale. So that to me is like, if I could implore anybody to play anything, it would be forcing people to play the Mass Effect trilogy. Something that I think that the Mass Effect trilogy does best is its storytelling. I would die on that hill of somebody trying to tell me that the story for Mass Effect 3 isn't that great, even including and considering the way that the third game ended, which upset a lot of people originally, and they have since come out with some additional content and gave a little bit more context to the ending. I still love the ending, and I think that the individual characters that you learn about along the way and either hate to love or love to hate or just fucking adore them like I do, it is just so immersive. It completely just, it gives me chills. It's one of the best games I think ever. And I unfortunately, my browser has crashed where I have lost the Games Radar article, because the way that they wrap up the article is a beautiful ode to the game, and the way the statement, and essentially says something to the effect of, turn on the game and just let it suck you in, let it completely take over your world, and you will without fail have an incredible experience, no matter how you choose to play the game, the choices you make along the way, or how you choose to play your character, or who you choose to save or not save or work with or fight against. No matter your decisions, it is such a fulfilling and satisfying and wonderful game. And it was one of the first series that I played when I was first starting to get into gaming, which I had not been a lifelong gamer. My gaming and love of games kind of really blossomed in meeting my now husband. But it is just one of the first that I finished, and it still holds such a dear place in my heart and a top spot on my rankings, because I just think that it is, I don't know what the word would be for it. What's the word when you're not like immortal? We're not talking, it's not like it's Jesus, but it kind of is to me. I don't know.
Timeless.
Timeless, sure. Timeless even seems
Transcendent.
Transcendent,
Ethereal.
yes. Powerful. Yes. More words,
Homosexual.
more powerful words. Yes. Something that was in the Games Radar article, actually, which is really funny that Walsh said that, because a long-standing joke regarding Mass Effect is the different ways that you can explore sexuality in the game and the different constructs of gender identity and relationships. And they absolutely did not do the correct thing in this game on many levels. They like over fetishize the idea of bisexuality, and they have made some weird choices at some point regarding how certain characters can or cannot be gay or bisexual or whatever. But overall, the game is extremely bisexual and very queer, and most people choose to play it that way. And so at one point in the Games Radar article, they referred to the lighting as bisexual, and I've not heard a more accurate thing in my life than that being the case for Mass Effect. So
Is it just like that saturation of blue and purple?
maybe, I don't know. That's not even like a lighting option for most of the game. Like, that's not really the case. But I think that they more so referring to it as just it being like a wash over the entire game, because I personally like to play a more masculine Shepard, and I have romances with both Liara Tassoni, and I always end up with Garrus in the end because I'm just obsessed with him. But you can do so much in the game, and it actually, I would say that it kind of opened me up to the idea of exploring my own sexual identity in a way that I had never done before, because I was exposed to this kind of media in a way that I just feel like it is a very safe space for that kind of play. And I think that we should all play with different aspects of our lives, and that you should be able to explore yourself and explore what you like or don't like or might like, and have media that reflects that, or spaces where you can do that, especially if you can't comfortably do so in your main life. So I really love that aspect of Mass Effect 2. So
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
yeah, like, so, like, jokes aside, like, I just really, and like I said, there's absolutely been points where, especially in the original game series production, there were some problematic things that occurred. I don't feel comfortable naming specific things because I don't want to misname anything, but I just do know that there were some problematic moments, like certain characters that could have been gay, they like explicitly didn't allow you to go there, and it just seemed weird at the time, but whatever. You can really customize your experience, and if you like first person, I just stopped because I just realized when we talk about first person RPG, are we literally talking about like the camera view or just that you're a
Yes.
singular person? Okay, so it is not
Yes.
first person. It is
It's a
third.
third person
It's
RPG.
third
third
person
person.
RPG.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just like blanked out. I
That's
was like,
okay.
wait.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Wait, what? Well, I'll ask that later. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I kind of was just I reached the point in my story where just one thing, my do I have enough time to just kind of touch on one particular character storyline?
Sure.
Just really quick.
Yeah.
So is there anybody who has not played the series that does not want any spoilers at all?
I can take my headphones out.
Yeah, okay. Because
I can't.
Okay, so no, I'm not going to. All I'm going to say is that Mordin Solus is a character in the game. He is a Solarian scientist. He appears in all 3 games, and the way that they allow character progression and character arc to take place is some of the best that I've ever seen in any video game ever. And the fact that the people that you meet along the way can mean different things to you throughout different games, and also so eloquently in their own right make decisions almost and change form, and that you're allowed to participate in their stories in that way is just the most magical part of the game for me. And Mordin Solus is my favorite thing ever to happen in the world. So that's all.
I feel that hard having characters like that as well in my game.
Right.
Yeah, Mass Effect's something that I've always like admired from afar. And I never. You were done, right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely. No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Mass Effect's something I've always kind of admired from afar. I had some friends in high school who were into it, but it just didn't seem like my kind of thing. And I'm still not sure if it is from the gameplay side of things, but I like sci-fi, I like aliens, and I like a lot of the stuff that you mentioned. So I'm sure that I'm sure that I'd be able to get something out of it if I decided to play it at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that I've always said to Chris too, because I've been trying to encourage him to play more what I refer to as long form games. But
Yeah.
To me, if it's something I struggled the first few times that I played through the series, I struggled with the first Mass Effect. It feels a little janky and not very fleshed out. And by and large, Mass Effect 2 is considered by most to be the best game of the trilogy. So one of my favorite things about the Mass Effect series is that they gave you an add-on called Genesis that allows you to make all of the major storyline decisions of the first game to allow you to then import those decisions because they affect the second game, where you don't actually have to play the first game.
Okay.
And you still get all the storyline, and it's presented in a comic book type animated presentation where you make the decisions, and they did a beautiful job with it. So if you ever feel like you'd like the experience of playing through the series, but you want to cut down on how much actual gameplay and action you have and don't necessarily care about playing through every minute of the first game, doing Genesis makes it so much easier to be able to get right into the thick of things and enjoy the storyline in a great way.
Anyone? Anthony, you've played Mass Effect. What's your thoughts on it?
I have so many thoughts on Mass Effect that are so hard to concentrate
I know.
on a commentary spot in a single pod. But instead of trying to add to Kelsey's thoughts, which Kelsey really did an incredible job of conveying it, I'll tell you my favorite part of Mass Effect. In Mass Effect 2, they add this new thing where you can like research all these upgrades. And like at first you do it to get upgrades that are clearly apparent for like things you do in the game. Like, oh, I can research this new type of armor, or I can research this new shotgun. And and there are some fun upgrades, and then there are ship upgrades where it's like, oh, you can upgrade your ship's shielding or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like, why not? But that's not ever really relevant. I guess that's just for the flavor of it, right? And at the end of Mass Effect 2, you were suddenly put to a test. And
this is not spoilers, right? Just want to make sure for
I'm
sake.
gonna do this very spoiler light, but
Okay,
Matt,
cool.
it may be a good idea just to
All right.
just to avoid any kind of expectations.
We'll message you, Matt.
I'm away.
So there reaches a point where that gets tested, and if you did that upgrade, you see a cutscene in which your ship is okay. And if you didn't do that, it wouldn't have been. And all the things that you invest into kind of flow into this narrative that you are a central part of. And if you've invested and done right, everything turns out perfect. And seeing all of that come together and converge on one of the hardest missions is such a raw, emotional, fulfilling experience that I have not had in any other game to this point.
Yeah, it's heavy. The whole series is pretty heavy. So, but in like a very fulfilling way. And there's many lighthearted moments too. But like I am somebody that likes media and games too that are extremely narrative heavy. I don't care about much else, honestly.
Story is king.
Yeah, and for the most part, like, and I'm this way with movies too. Like, the movie can be like AAA across the board, and then if the plot falls through, even in just the last 10 minutes, I have an absolute fit for myself. I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Don't even speak this around me. I'm done. So, like, for me, I'm very invested in stories and in them being told correctly and in you having a lot of agency around them. And Mass Effect is just one of those games where they do that correctly and everything else correctly at the same time. Like, it's not just like the story's good, but everything else sucks. Save for the first game's somewhat janky mechanics, but otherwise, just brilliant. Just brilliant. I can't really.
Yeah.
I can't take any more time on it, but just brilliant.
Buy the game.
Yeah, I definitely will try it again. Every single time I play it, I just get so bored so quickly.
You have to skip one. You have to just go through Genesis.
I know. I wonder, does the Legendary Edition have Genesis?
Yes, I believe it does.
It is considered to be one of the like mainstays of the game because there are people who just don't want to sit through one. And having been somebody who originally only played Genesis the first few times and then only with the Legendary Edition went through Mass Effect 1, I am happy to say that I did it and I did enjoy it, but I could see for any other casual person to the game and new person to the game, if you did not want to, Genesis does the job of filling in all the gaps that you need in order to move forward into.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I said I was talking about this last night with you guys, but like, you know, Mass Effect, Skyrim, and Breath of the Wild, I'm going to try to hit all of them next year in some capacity, see how far I can make in all of them. But that is...
You will.
That is... Alright, we'll see. I'll try my best. But yeah, no, Mass Effect is one of the greatest video games ever. Video game series ever. Video game trilogies. Easily the best video game trilogy, but in terms of, you know, just what it means to the industry, like, storytelling in video games was not what it was without Mass Effect. It is just by far one of the most important video games to ever come out. And it's amazing what they did. And we'll see, man. You know, they do have that Mass Effect game coming at some point. Who knows when it will come, but the next one, it's
going to be as good as Andromeda.
If it is, I will cry because I'm so invested in this new one coming out.
Yeah,
and
I
will report. No, it's okay. I will report back on the Coop when it comes out and after I've played, and it'll either be a very, very fun episode or a very sad one.
Yeah. All right, let's move forward here. Walsh, it is your turn. You're talking about
Mass
Pokemon.
Effect.
You're talking about Mass Effect further. No, you're talking about Pokemon Go, which, you know, maybe we could connect the two franchises in some capacity. I don't know how we could do it, but this is a game that you played a lot of this year. Tell us about it.
So, I think we should have expected this episode was just going to be longer than other episodes.
Yes,
as we talk, literally, like, this is the game I've been most passionate about this entire year.
Definitely.
So, I can't control where conversation will go after I speak, but maybe we'll cover Pokemon Go in another episode, because I think the way that I'm going to talk about it here might not be in a way that we've talked about a lot of games so far in the show.
Sure.
For me, very personally, Pokemon Go was a really fun escape this year. Mm-hmm. And, I jumped onto the craze at the beginning, 5 years ago when it started. And since the pandemic and a lot of things, it has been just not only just a way for me to get out of the house, but I can't tell you how many amazing memories I've made and how much fun I have had just driving around and having Skylar in my passenger seat and us just playing Pokemon Go and trying to get done whatever missions we can and doing whatever we can. And really just committing ourselves to catching these little virtual things that aren't really there, but it was just a very fun way of just passing the year.
Catching those virtual boys with the ball, as it may be.
Yeah, those little virtual ball boys. I have a Chris, I have a Matt.
Shit.
But yeah, for me it was just like a really personal thing and a really fun way to be able to pass the year. I know that since it started, a lot of good things have been updated about it, but for me it was just a really... I had a lot of trouble figuring out what my game of the year was, because it was a very busy year. I didn't maybe get to play too many video games, but it was something that I got to spend a lot of time with the small, with the small circle of people that I enjoy. And it was something that got me out of the house and something that I really got to have fun with. And also Skylar says hi. She's not here, but she texted. She's not here, but she texted me.
Very good. Yeah, we have a lot of Pokemon Go players here. Anyone want to continue this?
Well,
sure,
the longest pod just got longer.
Mine's not gonna be that fast. I started Pokemon Go in like when everyone else did. Obviously, I'm really, really into Pokemon. For some reason, Go didn't grab me as it did a lot of other people, and I don't know. I don't know what the exact reason is, but it was fun. It's fun while I played it. And it was a really fun time. Just kind of walking around and doing stuff. Gave more of a purpose to walking around outside, which some people need. I'm one of them.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Just want to say,
I like Pokemon.
Yeah.
You were so close to catching up to me in level, Walsh, but I hit level 38 this morning. But it's been fun. I have friends all over the world. Sometimes I get random raid invites from them, or I invite them, or vice versa. Kelsey and I get to work, and the first thing we do is open up Pokemon Go together, see if there's any gyms we want to take over, any cool Pokemon to catch. I try and do every community day. It's fun seeing the kinds of people that you run into each time at the same park. And it was really touching in a way to see that some of them were still there after the pandemic. Not to keep talking about the pandemic, but it's relevant.
It's relevant, yeah.
Yeah.
And
fun. I mean, it played a big part into why I am picking that as my pick. But yeah, for me, it not even like, it could have been any other game, I guess, but it was just the fact that I had spent so much time with this game, it just got me through the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I have one quick thing to say.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite Pokemon Go memory is when the game first came out. I directed a horde of people screaming that there was a Dratini in the opposite direction of where it came from, when there was not.
Are you Satan?
Yes. Satan is gay, so yeah.
And I have to say that from a perspective of somebody that's like a very casual player, that I do play Pokemon Go. I am level 35, and it took me a while to get there. And as somebody that was not really into Pokemon before this point, the community is outrageous in the best possible way. And it gives my heart so much joy when Anthony puts on like his little outside outfit and he's like, I'm gonna meet Matt at the park, and he goes, and I'm like, aw, like it's so cute. It is like so wonderful and wholesome that it's like, I might meet up with Matt at Eisenhower to do, whatever, Pokemon stuff. And I'm like, you're fucking adorable and I hope you have a good time. And it's just so sweet. It is just like so wholesome and really cute, and it is just happy. It is just happiness. I am unaware if there are any major toxic dark corners of the Pokemon universe. I don't believe that they are given room to exist fully inside of Pokemon Go, because it's just kind of your own personal thing besides the friends connections that you make to trade and stuff.
They probably don't go outside, so that's
all right, cool.
Yeah.
But like, so just saying, like, it is, to me, it is one of the purest possible spaces for gaming.
On that front, I was thinking about it. I think one of the reasons why I kind of fell off Go, at least like wasn't as into it as I felt like a lot of people were at the start, was because how gamified it got super quickly.
Mm-hmm.
When it was the fucking hotness. Like, everyone was fucking doing it. Everyone was trying to figure out how to be the best at it immediately. I kind of fell off it from that because it always felt like I was like falling behind or like not doing that much in comparison to a lot of other people playing the game. Even like people I was close to. So it's nice to know that the community in general, like now that it's consolidated to people who are just really into the game, that it's good that it's good now.
Also, it kind of shocks me that it is something that was so transcendent across so many different generations, and that like we would frequently be out and playing where there would be anybody from, the little 5-year-old walking around with his phone to like the 80-year-old grandpa on his phone, both playing Pokemon Go. And it was like, I don't know, it just was so cool. It was like something that transcended so many different like structures in our society that it's kind of wild. I don't think that there's really been anything else that's really done that, because even things like other universal games like say Tetris or Pac-Man, you still had to have been kind of around for when they started and then have access to things that still play them, where when they put something like Pokemon Go on the phone, everyone has a phone. Even grandpa has a phone. Grandpa might not have a gaming console, but he has a phone. And so therefore, I don't know, I just think it's incredibly impressive that it's something that was really able to transcend so much for so many.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's now been a running bit that Anthony keeps on trying to get me to play Pokemon Go.
Oh my god. My favorite one, I'm just going to share this real quick. Chris got a new phone, and he's like, I just got to make sure that it's working and that it can receive text messages. I wasted no time at all. I was like, Chris, I got you. I sent him a link to the App Store page to download Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And does he play it? No.
I do have it installed. Do I have it installed? Yes, I have it installed. So, yeah, we'll see.
He installed it just long and played it just long enough to make his character look absolutely ridiculous, and then stopped playing.
Good.
That's really the goal, Those the long-term goals in general. All right. I guess it's my turn. All right. I'm last on this. I don't even know how to transition, but I had what a year this has been. for me. Back in like February or March, I decided to do something incredibly dumb and stupid and say I'm gonna play 100 video games this year, all of which I have not been before. And I went through and I am up to I'm currently playing game 99. I'm very close. It's gonna. I think I will do it. But it's been a journey, and there's been some great things about it because I've discovered some really great games, and there's some downsides to it where I'm like I can't really get to really enjoy those games more than I wanted to, with the exception of a few that I sunk my teeth into more. And that brings me to my game of the year, which it has been a debate between Psychonauts 2 and Chicory. I'll talk more about Chicory later. But let me just start with Psychonauts 2 and get into it here, because as we talked about back in the May episode, I was introduced to this franchise by Anthony. He said, hey, you should play this. He sent me a code to it. I forget how he had that code, but he sent it to me. It was really
Humble
nice.
Bundle.
There you go. Humble Bundle came through. But no, yeah, Anthony gifted it to me, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I was kind of iffy about it, but it's a 3D platformer, and I was just like, all right, I like 3D platformers. Let me give it a shot. And I played through it, and I loved it, and we talked enough about it in the May episode if you want to listen.
Talk about it.
Well, let's talk about Psychonauts 2.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry, I'm getting myself confused.
No, we're going to talk Psychonauts 2. But,
okay.
So I've been waiting for this game for 2 years now, because I played the first one in 2019, and we were really hotly anticipating it, and then during E3, they dropped the release date, and I counted the days, essentially, to playing Psychonauts 2. And my expectations going in were just, I just want this to be good. I don't need it to be great. I don't need it to be amazing. I just would like to see see where the story goes. I want more fun worlds to explore. I just want it to be good enough that I can just enjoy the experience and then move on. No one has to talk about it. No one has to care about it. I just want to see this, like, I guess it could be an ending chapter, and I don't care what it is. I just want to experience it. I played it, and I couldn't believe it. To me, I thought it was so Psychonauts 1, but they refined it enough where it really felt a lot more modernized, a lot more that you could do with it overall, and the worlds were bigger. It was so beautiful, the game. The story was so good. The characters, so many more characters in this game that really just win your heart over. Some of that are annoying. Some of that are really fun. The worlds, the levels, I think that they just did such an amazing job in terms of crafting these mental worlds. And to give you the backstory in terms of what's happening in this game, this is following the events of the first Psychonauts and the events of the VR game Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin, where essentially hold on a second, Leo just woke up and he's scratching the back of my chair.
No.
Yes.
Special guest.
Right where we get to this. All right.
Lewis.
So Psychonauts 2 opens up with the at the end of Psychonauts, you learn that the head of Psychonauts was kidnapped, and Rhombus of Ruin was basically the rescue mission of the head of Psychonauts. And so the events that follow in Psychonauts 2 are essentially, it's the aftermath of that, and also just trying to get to the bottom of who was the person that kidnapped Truman Zanotto, the head of Psychonauts, or just generally, like, who was behind it. Because they had a perpetrator, but they didn't feel like he acted alone. And so the idea of this entire story is kind of just Raz kind of getting into the Psychonauts and being an intern in the Psychonauts program, while also trying to help the Psychonauts try to figure out what exactly is going on here. Why was Truman Zanotto just easily taken from the Psychonauts headquarters? So to me, I think they did such a good job closing the story And what I loved so much was that a lot of the mental worlds that you explored built a lot on the lore of the game. They kind of put a big focus on the Psychonauts 6, which is a group of people who started the Psychonauts, and each one of them kind of had their own mental world that you were able to kind of explore and learn a lot about them. And I have a few favorites, but I think the one that stood out most to me was a level called Bob's Bottles. And I won't go too much into, the spoilery aspects of it, but it's really an isolated story for the most part. Basically, there is one of the Psychonauts 6 is Bob Zanato, who is I believe the brother of Truman Zanato.
Yes.
Yeah, so you get a peek into his life, and when you see him and meet him, he is this alcoholic, angry mess of a person, unfortunately. And you go into his brain, and you end up seeing him on this isolated island, and you talk to him, and he kind of talks about how no one around him loves him. He just feels like he's a complete outcast from everyone. He feels like everything that has happened to him is his fault. And you go out from this island, and you travel to different islands where you see these large bottles on the islands that you go into, and you learn more about him. There's one bottle that you go in, and you learn about how his mother died from alcoholism. There's another bottle where it talks about when he got fired from the Psychonauts by his brother because of poor performance. And then the one that made the most impact to me was the story of him and his husband, who his husband also part of the Psychonauts 6, who unfortunately was taken down during a big battle, and really held a lot of regret in his mind about that. But you learn about kind of like a little bit about their wedding day and their love story, kind of how they kind of came to be through like different faults and stuff that you meet. And it's just a beautiful level, and just from a story point of view. And that's what Psychonauts has always been, and it always will be. It's a silly game. It's a silly, stupid game at times, but it's also a game that has so much heart, and it was willing and finds very unique ways to tell stories. And I feel like Psychonauts 2 did such a good job telling the story of Raz and also everyone else that he got to explore further. And I just think I cannot believe it got Game of the Year recognition. I can't believe there's so many people who loved it. But at the same time, I can believe it because they did such an amazing job given all the development hell that they had to go through to get to this point. And that's to me where I'm going to end, where I'm going to talk about it. But Anthony, I want to talk to you because you just beat it this weekend. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I found the first half of it to be a little tough. I love the original Psychonauts, like one of my top games of all time. Beat it multiple times. This game kind of had me, then it didn't have me, and some of the levels were really difficult to play through because the characters are really relatable, really well written, and you get to directly tackle a lot of the things that they struggle with, and you may even see yourself in some of those characters. I know that I did. And I'm glad that I came back to it because it just comes together so well. It's such a beautiful world full of compassionate, likable characters. The game itself, too, is so much fun. Like, it's the right mix of platforming, adventure, action, exploration, collectathon, all that good stuff. It's so funny. And the celebrity voice actors, incredible cast, honestly. And I was really just surprised and happy by it. I'm so glad this game got made.
Yeah, Jack Black was one of the main Psychonauts 6 characters. I'm not going to say who he was exactly, because there's I think the whole level is you said that was one of your favorite levels, discovering his character, and I don't want to go too deep into that unless you want to talk about that level just without like spoilery.
Yeah, so there's a character who kind of gets reacquainted with the primary senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, etc. And they become very overwhelming, and he has panic attacks about it. And you kind of like see the level and his voice change as he gets these panic attacks, but the game takes you on this magical journey where all of their senses are personified and they're people with their own personalities. But it's very much a fun voyage of rediscovering, oh my god, how much fun is it to actually taste things or to hear things or to see things? And it was magical, like simply magical, really incredible fun level to play through.
Yeah, I think that I think that we kind of tried to sum it up as best as we could. Um, I think that it delivered on its expectations, and I think there's so many cool things that they added in the game in terms of abilities. The one that I keep on pointing out was the one where you make an archetype of yourself, in order to a little paper archetype that could slip through small spaces. And that character was voiced by I should have looked this up before. Yeah, Gur. So he voices Gur on Invader Zim, this archetype. And for those who know, Raz is voiced by Richard Horowitz, who did the voice of Zim from Invader Zim. And so it was this really nice like reunion thing that kind of happened in that game. But then, in addition to that, though, you had the return of like clairvoyance, which is always a fun time. You saw a lot of different of the mental abilities ultimately come back. The obviously the riding around on the gravity ball, or the whatever, I forget what it's called. I think it's like it's some sort of floaty power word for mental, using your mind for it. I don't know. But anyways, they did so much to add to the gameplay, and they did so much to enhance the levels. I don't think that there is a Milkman conspiracy in this game. Like that was the defining level of Psychonauts. But I feel like I don't think that means that the levels were bad or by any means. I think that that was just a really great like splash in the pan. But every single level in this game, I feel like does something in terms of really delivering it. I agree with you though, Anthony. I think the beginning was a little bit difficult to get through. I didn't completely love the first few levels, not even just from the point of view of it just being very harsh, but even just I found I didn't love it. But I also think part of it was I saw so many previews of it, so I wasn't necessarily shocked or surprised by anything that I saw. So I just, maybe that's just my personal experience on it. Yeah, just a really, really special game, and that is why it is definitely a contender for me with Game of the Year. I'm still having trouble deciding, but I haven't talked about it yet, and I wanted to give it its platform and its proper due when talking about it here. Now, does anyone, before we end off the podcast, want to throw out a shout out game?
Gabe and I played It Takes Two about a month ago. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
We talked about that on the Coop, but some of the best gameplay that I've had. It was sick.
Yeah. It Takes Two is that is up there on my list as well. It is fantastic. It was so good. Anthony and I had such a great time with it, and I'm just super into it.
It was also kind of fucked up.
Yes, it was also very, very fucked up at times, yes.
Mario Party, whatever the fuck they're... Oh my
Superstars?
God.
Superstars?
Mario Party Superstars, and then Super Mario Party. Because, I don't know, they have a weird, like, fetish for naming them dumb. But both of the ones on the Switch basically got me through this year. So
Yeah.
those really were my pandemic games, and I can't tell you I put so many hours into just me and Skylar playing Mario Party. It's been so much fun.
On the perspective of party games, just real quick, Jackbox Party Pack 8 is probably my favorite pack yet.
I've
it's
not
so good.
played that much of it yet, so if y'all are down to like play that soon,
Yeah,
please.
we'll look
It's
into
my
it.
favorite one. Yeah.
I wanna play more of it. I just haven't had the chance to yet.
Please play with
Please.
me.
My shout out game is actually something I just started playing today. It's an indie game called Teardown, and it's this heist game where everything in the world is destructible. So it's totally open-ended in terms of how you actually fulfill your heists. It is really cool.
Can anyone stall for a second? Because I need to literally throw this cat out of this room. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
That's okay. Anthony and I will sing.
Let's talk about Mass Effect again.
Ave Maria.
No, Anthony. I
Oh.
play
Pokemon Go every day. I play Pokemon Go.
When I wake up,
Wake up.
I'm grabbing
my phone. I want to catch 'em all.
I can't. Why are you always one like beat behind me? What is happening?
Because the
That's
Discord
how
lag.
fucking Discord.
No,
lag.
it makes it sound like he doesn't know what the words are, so he's waiting for you to finish.
That's why I'm losing. Oh, it sounds like he has no idea what's going on. He's just trying to keep up.
I like to,
All right.
I like to play.
He literally was eating everything, all of my wires right now, and I've literally just tried to protect him from himself. It is
The flavors are
insane.
melting my tongue.
like I literally and the whole time, that whole last segment, during the entire Psychonauts segment, and during the shoutouts here at the end, I've been playing footsie with the cat, trying to fucking
I could tell
get
that
him
you were
away.
slightly distracted by the way that you were speaking. I was like, "What is happening? What is Leo doing?"
I had to. I will let him back into my room in a second. I promise you, I'm not trying to be like mean to the cat, but oh my god.
I just have.
Sometimes you gotta be mean to your cat. It's fine.
He'll survive. I just have two quick shout outs. One
Sure.
for Game of the Year type stuff. Definitely have to say that Nintendo repaired my relationship with them very much with the Animal Crossing update and the Paradise Planning.
Yes.
Really, really should not have taken this long, but they did what they came to do, and I appreciate it. Especially with the surprise of Cap'n. That was just fucking amazing. Excuse me, sorry. And then The Ruined King. I have not finished. I am probably very early still in it, but it is so far very, very good. And if anybody even likes anything League adjacent, I recommend starting it. And then we can meet back up and complain if it ends up not being good. But so far, it's really quite good.
That cough was just all of your positivity being ejected from your body.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it was, and not the piece of orange peel that flew to the back of my throat because I was eating candy.
Anyone else have a shout out? Because I have a few myself.
I will definitely not recommend Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I love the games, but they're also terrible.
That's not what this pod is, Gabe. This is only Game of the Year.
Not even that. This game is about positivity. I'll fucking crush your ass.
Okay, it is the Game of the Year. If I were not to recommend Game of the Year.
All right, cool.
Anyway,
Amazing.
Chris, go ahead.
I mean, Metroid Dread for Anthony and Gabe's sake. Just throw that out there. But for me, Bug Snacks, It Takes Two and Luigi's Mansion 3 surprised. So Luigi's Mansion 3 was so fucking surprising, and how much I fucking adored that game. And Deathloop, it was so good. And Kelsey got me into Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the sequel coming up. Toem A Photo Adventure is such a cute game. I recommend anyone to try it out. Life is Strange True Colors is easily the best Life is Strange game. And shout out to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I did not like the 2016 remake. I love this game. Bowser's Fury.
That was this year.
That was this year, and that was amazing. That was an amazing Mario game. And last but not least, I think in my heart of hearts, Chicory: A Colorful Tale is my game of the year. And not only that, I think it's a top 5 favorite game all time for me. It may even beat Undertale at some point.
Wow.
But that's just, I'm just putting it out there. And I'm gonna, without going into it, going all of it again, I just want to read a quick thing from Natalie Flores from Fanbyte. She's a great writer, but her game of the year was also Chicory: A Colorful Tale. And so I'm just gonna read this here. Logically, I know there's no such thing as a perfect game. Emotionally, it's absolutely a thing because Chicory: A Colorful Tale is perfect. This is a relentlessly vulnerable game that looks at your ugliest parts and sees them as messy yet necessary brushstrokes to paint an irreplaceable picture. With its ever-surprising wit, delightful characters, and boundless creativity, it disarms you. By that end, Chicory has you question why you ever thought wearing armor was necessary in the first place. We are such small, imperfect things in the world that's so colorful and full of beauty, of incredible places to explore, full of beauty, of incredible places to explore and weird and wonderful people to meet. At every turn, Chicory: A Colorful Tale reminds me of this during a time in which it is incredibly hard to keep this in mind. And I think that just sums it up perfectly. It's just such a beautiful game. I love the experience. It's like a warm hug. It is tough. It is a difficult playthrough at times just because it hits some really strong points in terms of dealing with imposter syndrome, and just dealing with like just having a darkness kind of like looming over you. And this game kind of puts it in a literal sense. But overall, every single character in this game it's just so nice and cheery, and I absolutely adored it, and it just means the world to me. It is a surprise game. I really did not expect to fall in love with this game when I played the demo back in February, and I'm just so head over heels over it.
Can I shout out something that's not a game?
Yeah.
So, Chris, if you could put a link to this in the description, you talked about how you underwent this challenge to complete 100 games this year.
Yes.
And you have been cataloging all of those games. And while recording this, we do have a few days before the end of the year, and I definitely think you're going to make it, and we will, of course, ring the bell when you do. But sure. you guys should check out Chris's list of games. He has them ranked, and just definitely, like, everybody give Chris a round of applause.
Yes.
I don't know how necessary that is, but I appreciate it. No, this was fun.
I want to speak on that real quick. Chris, legitimately, you are one of the most passionate people I know, and your love for games has really exuded this year and just in general, and I really appreciate you and all that you are about.
Well said.
Thank you. I really appreciate
in this whole thing.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun, and getting to play a lot of games from this year, but also years past, and being able to kind of like round out a little bit of my knowledge about this medium a lot more is just been such a great passion project. And again, like, there's things that I loved about it and things that I don't love about it. I'm looking forward to not keeping track of the amount of games I play, or at least not holding myself to a specific goal in terms of the number of games I need to play in a year. But yeah, no, it's been such a delight, and I just think it's it's amazing what people have been able to create and put in our hands, so that way we can control the adventure and control the experience overall. And with that, being said, folks, it is the end of 2021. 2022, I expected this past year to be a bigger year for Gaming Coop. I think this upcoming year is going to be a bigger year. Expect a lot more from this podcast in terms of fun little side things that we plan on doing for the Gaming Coop. I'm just so excited to see kind of the things that we come up with. So thank you all so much for listening. Game on. The Gaming Coop is brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Follow us on Twitter at The Gaming Coop, or follow our other work at Team Chaos Pods.